Yo, Interlooper, thank you so much for the 33-month resub. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for dropping in and subbing us up. Hell yeah, 33 months. Freaking awesome. Thank you so much. In the bottom left, our Blue Zerg player as we went to game 1 of a new best of 5. It is from the Shopify Rebellion, Scarlett. In the top right, our red Protoss from Dragon Kai Z Gaming. It is herO. Bow, 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 bow. If you catch a tan, you'll lose your gamer cred. God damn it. I hate it when I lose my gamer cred, man. There ain't anything worse than that. The only thing I ever want is to be a credible gamer. And where am I now, you know? Where am I now? An incredible gamer. Ugh, the worst. herO top right, Skull bottom left, game 1 of this best of 5. Round of 12 matchup. Showtime. Forward his group. He waits in the quarterfinals for the winner of this series. And yeah, don't know what to expect actually. herO has been a little bit more on and off as of late. Scarlett's had some fun matches. Excited to see what we do here. Of course, Scarlett kind of scraped through her group, it's fair to say. She's the only player to have advanced into these playoffs off of a 1-3 match score. She took out Creator, while Creator took out Wayne, and Wayne took out Scarlett. To create the 3-way tie in Group B, she came through with 2 better maps off than the others, including a map win over Max Pack. So she does have that kind of, you know, credibility for sure, and there's a little bit of ZVP. Definitely don't count her out. We'll see if she can take it to herO here in this round of 12 in these quarterfinals as we make our way through the event. Stargate opening from herO. Man, are you really going to get back to a meta where it's like just Stargate every game again? I was really enjoying the variety it felt like we had in PvZ. I understand that Max Packs and herO themselves definitely play in a certain way, but man, it's just like, I guess when you watch a Max Packs best of 5 and then a herO best of 5 back to back, we might end up with this just Stargate opener so many times. I'll never forget the time I was casting with Roddy, and I felt so justified finally because he was like, he said, well, guys, I know you want us to talk about the Stargate opener for the 25th time in a row, but we're not going to because we know how it works. I was like, that's what I say, Roddy. Thank you for making me so credible. It's going to be the Oracle versus some Lings, and yeah, just seeing our Adept still moving back to the upper right-hand side. So yeah, just bringing that up, and a couple of drones, a hatch going through. This is Carnivore. No low ground from natural to natural. You can go from one base to the other without ever having to go up or down a ramp. That has not happened on a ladder map. Not that this is a ladder map yet, but this hasn't happened on a map that's been in the ladder since 2017, and that was Cactus Valley, a remake of a 2015 map. It's been a long time. And that map was very different too, because that at least was, you know, to go kind of, you know, no low ground, you had to go kind of through the middle of the map, so at least cross spawns, which is pretty lengthy. This is a shorter map that has no real way to slow it down in the middle. No line of sight blockers, no ramps. I find that kind of fascinating, just a very unique thing to mention that is kind of just missing. What's always so fun to me is it doesn't feel wrong, right? It's not like you're like, wait, this map's so weird because it doesn't have the ramp. Like, it took me a couple of times of watching to really notice, like, hey, you can go natural to natural without a ramp. So it doesn't look wrong, it doesn't feel wrong, but it will have an influence on the kind of builds that's successful here. It will have an influence on the kind of builds that can do well, and the kind of builds you can and can't use. So, a few things to be watching for. As we have the couple of Oracles taking some shots, Spore and Queens taking some damage. And yeah, just gonna have, oh my goodness, it's a Twilight. I didn't even notice the Twilight behind this. And we're gonna go Resonant Enclaves. Hey, Adept time. Well, let's see if the Adepts can have a successful start to this series. Scarlett is rushing Hydras. Now, I was very mean about Scarlett's Hydras the other day when she was playing against Creator, saying, I don't think this is going to work well at all. That was against a Robo Bay opening. Now, against an Adept Glaives opening, it's a very fine line that you're walking, because if these Adepts get on the Hydras in good enough numbers, the Hydras melt. If the Hydras are in good enough numbers to fight the Adepts, guess what melts? The Adepts. So this is really kind of down to a numbers game. It can be a very volatile game, though. So you got to be careful. Scarlett trying to fight on the Adepts there for a while before starting to get at least a bit of a head start towards her main when she realizes the Shade will go off. As Glaives is now done. The Hydra's doing okay with the Lings to tank. The Hydras don't take any shots, so that's kind of important. We've killed 4 drones so far. If we can keep the damage at around that, this should be fine for a Scarlett, who is pretty much looking to just all in after this anyways. She's getting Hydra speed. There is no seeming intentions of her playing a macro game out of this. Only 40 drones at the moment to the 60 probes. There's absolutely zero way this is going to become a... yeah, there's just no way, right? I refuse to believe it. As the Lings come up the top side, they move on through. The Adepts get some shots off. Lings, Hydras, taking a few bits of damage already, and now they're going to have this jump. Stasis is going to buy you some very important time here. That is a big deal. Any amount of time that you can buy for yourself is typically going to be extremely important at this point. As the Hydras continue to sit here, continue to put in some pressure. It's going to be coming through. They really need these Zerglings to protect the Hydras, but we also need the Stasis Ward to not be active, and unfortunately, we are going to see the Stasis Ward fading away while the Super Battery is there, so yeah, just all these layers of defense from herO starting to work out. And Scarlett, she's going to add in a Baneling Nest, but herO's also making the necessary adjustments to his army as well. Heading into that Colossus and the Extended Thermal Lance. Adepts are going to shade around to the top side of the map this time around. Lings and Hydras continue to work through the rocks. The rocks will be taken down, and well, Scarlett still pretty much is just set to attack. That's what it comes down to. Now, all these Adepts are over here. Maybe this is her best possible chance to attack. Adepts go up in toward the main base. The Oracle's going to sit here, activating one of her Stasis Ward as well. Need to try and send just a couple of Lings forward, but even they provide a little bit of a wall off. And Adepts get turned around, but all of this keeps Scarlett busy, and it gives you more and more chance to get splash damage up at home. The more Colossi you see, the more one-sided an overall larger fight is going to end up being in favor of herO. And it does feel like we're kind of getting to that point now where Scarlett, I mean, she committed to low drones early. She's getting a big round of Banelings. This pretty much has to be the pull the trigger and go mode. So we're going to kill off a few of these Adepts, but some of them will get to shade at least as Queen's in position. Well, we're going to lose drones, but I think we're just fully sending it across the map anyways. And herO might have a little bit of an army supply problem here. A couple Stasis Wards initially are good. The Banelings can only do the waddle. They can't roll it quickly towards anywhere. And that Super Battery in the back just staying alive a very long time. Our Hydras are putting in whatever work they can, but eventually the 2 Colossi are just going to be a bit too much. And Scarlett trying to show us the aggression here on Carnivore, which is kind of how the map is encouraged to be played. So I start doing that. That's my current mission in life. And I will get it. But, it's going to take some practice. The bottom right here on Shipping News, our blue Zerg is going to be Shopify Rebellion's Scarlett. As in the top left, our red Protoss from Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is herO, up 1-0 in this best of 5. Do you feel like generally Glaive builds are going to be very good against those like Ling Hydra attacks? The Adepts are very good against Ling Hydra in themselves, and they're also very, very good at yeah, they're also just very good at putting some pressure onto the units of Scarlett, so that they have to pull back for a while, and it delays that attack, and then that attack's meant to be such a concise and precise timing that if you're meant to have such a precise timing and you're kind of running around after the adepts for a while, obviously that doesn't end up very, very pretty or anything along those lines. Because RuneScape is for packed with action. Honestly, like, yeah, it actually really is. Especially if getting a freaking Infernal Gate, man. I've been like writing out like attack patterns and there's a lot of mechanics to it, man. It's fun. Just not for everyone. Here top left and Scarlett bottom right. Let's look around. Shipping news that most notably has got that mineral hybrid base, gold and blue at the front. 3 gold patches, 3 blue patches. Mechanics such as clicking. Well, that's literally all StarCraft is as well, clicking. And you can also use your keyboard, to speed up the clicking. StarCraft is actually just a clicking simulator, guys. There's a Stargate opening. Yeah, the mineral base, so the gold, half blue base, is the same income overall as a regular base, but obviously it's got 2 less patches, so you need 4 less workers to get full saturation onto it. That's the benefit. You can hit that mineral income a little bit earlier in the game. We had a big discussion about this, and the TLDR is that I think this is just always going to be good for Zerg. And Zerg can take this fairly risk-free because it's just the kind of base Zerg are very used to having to defend anyway. You typically try and force a Zerg into an early third, for example. So it's not really a big issue for the Zerg to take that base. Whereas it is an issue for a Terran or a Protoss player to try and take that base early because that's going to be a difficult to defend position. And with a couple of ramps on either side, it can be a very good position for the Zerg to try and attack up into and to break down. And if the Zerg wants to punish, they really can. Where there's no kind of sudden need to punish from a Terran or Protoss, or way to punish as a Terran or Protoss compared to usual. And I had this whole discussion about, more if we make that the 4th base then, so it's a bit riskier, but the cool aspect of it is that basically by the time you get to a 4th base, who cares if you need 4 less workers, right? But, the earlier that kind of base is a hybrid base, the better in my eyes, because then it really kind of gives you, then it really has more of an impact. Like 4 workers when you're already on 60 plus doesn't matter. 4 workers when you're on like 40 is actually a pretty big deal, right? So just I like the idea of the base. I really love it. Just the more I think about it, the more I think it just doesn't quite work, or it's very difficult to find a right balance with it, right? So yeah, that's the problem. It's just good for Zerg. That's just typically the problem. You've got one race that likes to expand faster than the others. They are set up in such a way they can expand faster than the others. And so they just benefit off that base sooner than everybody else. Initial harass is already going very well here for herO. As I'm ranting about the map, herO is just getting down to business. He says gold base don't matter if you lose all your drones. There's now a lot of, 13 workers dead. 1 Oracle did go down, but this was such good damage. I don't think you really mind here. I think you're pretty okay with how this has gone so far. As we do have our lair building up on the side of Scarlett. And here we're going to go for the blink on the follow-up. A few adepts currently going to take some map control. But yeah, his main plan with the Twilight Council is going to be to get to blink and to work forward from there. Things come over. The Zealots are... the Adept's going to get surrounded, forced to recall, so that's nice for Scarlett, shutting this down quickly enough that herO even feels the need to recall to get those units out of there. That definitely puts you into a bit of a better position. Oracle just flying across is going to be able to drop down a stasis ward and is going to potentially catch a single drone. Good quick response from Scarlett, noticing the Oracle coming in, not wasting any time at all there. Oh, this Oracle's going to die. herO getting a little sloppy. That's... I feel like Scarlett just overcomplicated. I feel like she's took a step forward when she could have just continued to attacking to kill the Oracle. And then by stepping forward, she actually kills the Oracle, but she lets the stasis ward finish. Which means that now a bunch of drones get caught. So that's a bit of a shame. Well, Blink's about to be done. Another Forge on the way up as herO will look to get +1 as well. And with Blink done, we'll start to see a bit of Stalker pressure as the first few move forward and find an Overlord to begin with. 10 Roaches are already popping. And with these first 10 Roaches, should be able to see just our army kind of getting set up. Our Lings are going to run by up into the high ground. A few of these probes are immediately in some trouble. 2, 3 workers already going down. Some extra Stalkers are going to finish up, pinging down a Ling as well over on the left. Probe facility, Nexus, +1. All of that coming in as we drop a little Revelation down. Creep spread going to get caught. We blink over the left-hand side. A lot of Lings getting taken down here for the moment. It's a little slow zone, keeping these Stalkers kind of back a little bit as well. This is not really meant to be the main attack path forward. This map, that little direction is meant to help you get towards the watchtower more easily. It's kind of a cool little concept. We've not really seen too much come of that kind of area on the map when we've seen this map played just yet, so it's the kind of thing we'll be keeping on looking out for as we see this map a few more times before the tournament is done. Swarm Host from Scarlett. I'll tell you what, it is a pretty good Swarm Host map. Obviously, we've seen Swarm Host on this map earlier in the tournament as well. Might have even been Scarlett. And that's how she won the game against MaxPax, right? It was Swarm Host on this map. Obviously, you can use the Swarm Host to hit across into that forward-facing base. That's a very easy location to strike, and you can obviously use Swarm Host elsewhere too. So, Scarlett seems to think it's a good Swarm Host map and going to utilize that right now. Stalkers are getting forced back. Lings, Ravagers coming through. Swarm Host continue forward as well. The rest of the Lings, the rest of the Ravagers continuing up. Over on the right-hand side, our Lings begin to wrap around. Stalkers blinking backwards. As you move on through, we're going to have our Swarm Host ready to fire up. And the Locusts will start to launch themselves in towards this forward base. It's dropping straight down. A lot of probes begin to die. Our Lings on the right-hand side are going to try and wrap around these Stalkers as well to begin to work through this. Well, I mean, Scarlett just pushes herself right up on top of this base. She obviously knocks down a good amount on the left-hand side with the Locust. Now she doesn't have the Locust to protect this Ling Ravager. Can the Lings absorb enough damage and give these Ravagers an exit? Obviously, you don't want to lose the Swarm Host either. I feel like Scarlett's been caught in this fight longer than she wanted to. She's definitely wanted to disengage well before now, but has just not quite found the moment. I still feel like this was decent for Scarlett, but it does feel like she lost a lot more than she was initially intending. Yeah, only 7 Ravagers. I mean, 7 Ravagers is still a lot. Resources lost is in hero's favor as well, which, when you're playing Swarm Host, you're going to play with less drones. You're usually expecting to have the game look good for you when it comes to the, the trades and the values. This is a good fight already. These Locusts, just 3 units picking off a whole bunch of Stalkers. herO aggressively defending his base. Disruptor shot, hitting the slow zone along with those Roaches, and, well, we do see difficult to push through here. Like I say, that slow zone is going to hold you up and make this a very difficult access point. Yes, you don't have to go up a ramp to get into that position, but you got to go through the slow zone, which I would say a lot of the time is even more punishing. Well, you do have our Colossi starting to build up in numbers, so something that can hit against the Locust more easily. Decent swing from Scarlett here. She's going to dive the Colossi top side. She gets rid of one. Can she get any more? Currently having the Locust flanking in from the left-hand side. We are going to lose a lot of Roaches, though, so we actually can just kite through. And now those Roaches not doing as much either. A few more Locusts will get in range for a few more seconds. We do not get that other Colossus. I really felt the Roaches on the top initially could have continued to go through the choke point and really jumped on Colossus number 2. Obviously didn't pan out like that, didn't work like that in the end, but I really felt like that was a perhaps missed opportunity there. Still looking decent for Scarlett, but you gotta remember that this army at some point might just get completely overrun. As Roaches in the center going to knock down a Stalker, a couple of Colossi getting to work, Locusts are being taken out. Moving up to the top with that Roach Ravager, going to loop around. And Nexus immediately here will take some shots. Viper coming up, Blings and Spines coming through. To have herO still producing as much as he can in terms of 2 Colossi at a time. That splash damage should go a long way, but with Vipers, you do have the tech necessary to keep this going. Vipers will at least allow you to start picking off these Colossi, and at this point it kind of feels essential. You're building 2 at a time as herO. He's already got a, he's got 5 up actually, so you really do need something like that. We nearly kill a Colossus here, but that's the issue too. Even when you get forward on these Colossi, they can micro in the Prism, and the batteries keep them alive too. That was very committed from Scarlett. She loses a lot here, and she is able to rebuild Roaches once again, but resources lost is still dead even, and does not feel like the kind of game where you're meant to be dead even on resources. These swarm hosts are getting found as well. That really doesn't help. The more of those you lose, the less tech you have to keep carrying on. I think Vipers really are king right now. They can abduct a bunch of these Colossi straight in. We're going to go for 1. We're going to go for 2. We do not kill the second one because of the instant lift into the Prism twice over. Oh, it's so unfair. herO just undoes all the investment of the Vipers with a Prism lift. Yeah, the Prism just far enough forward and not being threatened, so you can just do that. Here's another yoink, and there's another save. Oh my god! This man is not going to let his Colossi die. That was 4 Colossus abducts into dead center of the army, and he only lost 1. He lost a single Colossus to 4 abducts. That's funny. Obviously, if you could have got the Prism first, that would have been nice, but there's no anti-air. There was a few Queens, but there's no guarantee you're going to kill the Prism, so... And it was a little bit deeper in the army, too, so it was a little bit safer as well. Couple of feedbacks going down. Viper's taking some shots. Colossus taking some hits as well. So, Stork's going to continue forward, and this just continues to be back and forth, but a massive step up about to happen for herO. It's going to be that Storm upgrade. I really feel like with that Storm upgrade coming online, you have access to a whole new world of potential. You should just be so much safer across the board here. Got more battles coming through. Just going to be seeing our Stalkers being kept back for the moment. More Stalkers will open in. Lurkers still coming in. Just going to be seeing our Roaches, Ravagers starting to fight. Viper gets hit by a feedback. Actually, we will get the abduct off, though. We kill a Colossus. We kill a Disruptor. Another Disruptor shot. Not quite reaching again. The Swarmo's coming in from a fun direction. With Storms, though, Scarlett's army is kind of just having trouble, and she just doesn't have the DPS to really move through into this army either. That is also turned into a bit of an issue here as we continue by. Have our Ravagers and our Roaches back into the center. The army of herO comes back over here as well. Lock-on shot, dealing some damage. Still getting that Seismic Spines on the way up from the Lurkers. Muskogran's coming through, going to hit a feedback onto the Viper here. It's just going to have that Viper taking a shot. The Locusts move forward once again. The Archon's getting picked away at. Still seeing Scarlett just pushing on through. A few more Biles. Dropping in here, there, and everywhere. A few more Locusts getting cleaned out also. These Disruptors are taking a lot of damage. We're clearing out the splash damage. Scarlett has so many minerals. I think Lava is not going to be her friend. She doesn't have a single Lava involved at the moment. She's got a lot of reproduction, but I'm afraid she's making like 44 lings. We don't have a single melee upgrade in the game. It might be pretty good against what herO has, but upgrade-wise, well, we'll see if it'll be enough. We do have a round of Locusts to try and help us clean this out, although we will lose. Oh my god, first of all, a lot to the Disruptor. The Yoink was late. We lost this hatchery as well. Can we kill this Disruptor? Not in time. We killed the one on the left, though, so that will not fire. And we do have Scarlett pushing back everything that herO has. The reinforcements for now have been enough. And Scarlett's going to chase herO away. The speed zone, as now the Roach army is going to accelerate through, and these Stalkers are still being chased on down. The Lings in too high a number to really turn around and fight, and that also goes for the Disruptor in that Prism. There's just too many Lings to drop it and try and get something done. We are going to find the Roaches, though. Here with a good connection to slow Scarlett down a pretty decent amount. I mean, all those Roaches could have been such a big deal. They could have made a big difference, and here they just don't do anything. Flinging forward, the Locust once again taking some damage. Colossi popping out to trade here as well. Well, herO is... I think the biggest thing is that herO is still on a pretty safe position overall, right? Like, to me, herO's setup is just, he's got his bases, he's comfortably mining, and he has got a chance to rebuild. So that part definitely feels, you know, pretty decent, I suppose. Definitely feels pretty good for you. Stalkers and Zealots going to go to the back. Nidus Network gets dropped down. Lings and Roaches go up against those Zealots. We will see the Locusts are going to fire forward into this 12 o'clock position. So they're going to make a move. Not going to last super long, as we do have the extra Disruptors still coming up. Spine Crawlers, drones, plus 4 melee, all producing as well. Scarlett's really making sure that she can survive a later stage game as we continue to go deeper onto shipping news. The Lurkers are out. Obviously, it's a big upgrade in terms of some of her ground forces. She's going to be able to deal with at least some of the units that herO has more easily. Especially the Stalkers, for example. If they walk in towards Lurkers, they are not going to have a good time. Lurkers do, however, need to be in position, and that's what they are lacking at the moment, but they just about get there. Get sieged up, get burrowed up, and herO's going to find himself retreating away with reinforcements still pouring through, spending every ounce of cash that he has. Can he get enough up to just push on through and to make a difference here? Storm going down, Rochaidu taking shots. herO's army just never really sustains at this stage. Let's see, as we knock down these Niduses, you're removing some of the mobility around the map that Scarlett has open to her as well. Disruptor shots here, going to grab one of these Lurkers, still having everything setting up. Scarlett now going to try and launch herself, and Nidus on the left-hand side. We'll see if that's valuable. The Disruptors will be safe because the feedback went onto that Viper. I do think I say the Disruptors more than the Colossi because I think the Disruptors really can be kings of this game right now. So keeping those safe is going to be a pretty big deal. And Nidus on the left, but we're yet to see anything popping out of it or doing much with it. We still have 7 Swarm Hosts, which if they find a fairly undefended location, could be pretty good. This base was actually long-distance mining as well, so kind of a double whammy, where you can actually deny the long-distance mining initially. Super Battery is already active. As these Locusts drop down, I'd be surprised if we find much more than a couple of units. A few Lings in the front try and grab a Disruptor or two that have been a little bit too adventurous as well. But Scarlett using this entire distraction on the left side to launch to the top. And finally, one thing she's not done in a while is really deny bases of herO, but this is going to be a base kill, and it's going to be a pretty substantial one at that, because herO does not have other bases set up in recent times. It really is just the bases he has got, or die trying to keep those alive, and he might just die trying to keep them alive. Scarlett's supply is dipping, but she has the money. That's the big difference right now. She has the money to rebuild. Oh god, herO's just going to send it. The Blinding Clouds were brutal there, as the Lurks did so much. Yes, there's a counterattack on the bottom, but herO's entire main force has gone, and Scarlett will tie this series up 1-1 thanks to the Swarm Hosts. Alrighty, side our blue Zerg from the Shopify Rebellion is Scarlett. Up against the red Protoss in the bottom left corner from Dragon Kaiser Gaming, we have got herO. Institute has been fun because of this kind of base down here. It's actually been taking a whole bunch. Oh. It hasn't been taken by the Zerg on the Protoss side a whole bunch, though, and that's something that Scarlett is going to do right now. Well, isn't that just a bundle of joy? Scarlett sends this drone across the map so that you can start to mine the minerals, I'd imagine. As herO scouts the main base, Scarlett's going to make a gash, he's going to make a pool, and herO's just like, cool, cool, cool. I've blocked your natural. You've taken a third elsewhere. You've taken the third base location as your first hatch expansion. The timings obviously look normal. Why wouldn't they? And because she has the other drone on the map, the only thing that might look weird is that there's a drone missing. Because in theory, this drone is the one that made the hatchery here in herO's mind. This drone, obviously, if he counts or can figure that out somehow, could be the deal breaker. Is this is going to be... well, herO is going to come over here. Is that enough to actually spot this? Well, the pylon building is going to be good to spot it eventually, but Scarlett might be able to mine out a little bit more of this before she actually gets spotted by the pylon finishing, because it doesn't have the vision just yet to notice. Oh man, herO's actually not going to know. But he's going to know now. He's going to see some missing minerals if he's paying attention. Now he sees a drone, now he sees creep spread, so now he is aware. And, yeah, now it's time to start trying to wall off here. Lings are building, Queen is building, battery starts. Having a pylon here already is obviously a big help. Scarlett sees what's going on. I love this. She's taking the forward patches first. They're the more difficult patches to get further down the line, I think. So obviously to get these ones first and then this one after probably makes some good sense. And you do have the first adept out. Lings do not have that link speed yet. Robo facility coming up. We're also going to get a baneling nest. So if this comes down to kind of like a bust, then that's actually something that Scarlett can do. She can bust down this pylon perhaps. And that actually might be the best idea. If you bust down this pylon cannon and then you just get into this location. Oh yeah, this is actually looking like the best idea, absolutely. As the Lings will come up though, we're going to start pressuring even without link speed. She's going to go for this battery first of all. She will knock this down relatively easily. She should be able to get a cancel on these cannons. They are well on the way. New battery in the back, but yeah, herO doesn't know about the gas. He doesn't know about the baneling nest. And like I say, that means you can just bust through this, and then you're going to be depowered, and then this is going to be very difficult to hold. 5 Banes on the way up. The only thing I will say is you kind of need all these Banes to connect. And if this battery can start healing the pylon straight away, that could be a big deal too. The Overlord providing the high ground vision. As Scarlett's Banelings will get set to go. And we go. We're going to lose one Baneling very quickly, though, and the battery does get into action. Now we're going to put the Banes just kind of towards everything. Okay, I'm fine with that, because it actually does a lot of splash damage, so then the Lings can just follow up and finish up. There's an Immortal, however, so does Scarlett actually have enough to follow up with here? She's going to send some Lings into the main to try and cause some chaos there. Oh, okay. It looks as though this is a hold for herO. If Scarlett doesn't do much more than this right now, I feel like this is not enough damage. Immortal up, Sentry up, another round of Ling Bane going. But yeah, I just don't think that's going to be enough in the end if you really want to get up here and break on through. This is going to pick away at the gas at least, I guess. But there's 2 Immortals now out. That's obviously not exactly... I mean, I guess Lings obviously can get a good surround on Immortals, etc. As we do kind of miss the force field a little bit here. Going to go after the battery, but it's just too much from herO. It hasn't worked out from Scarlett, and herO's going to take a 2-1 lead now. But ZVP brings us here. I feel like there's a decent map for a ZVP, actually, so... We'll see what will go down is in the top left. Our red Zerg from the Shopify Rebellion is going to be Scarlett. She is down 1 game in this best of 5. Needs to win this to stay in the tournament. Bottom right, our blue Protoss from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is herO. In Europe, it's everywhere. I think it's also actually just, it's a more common thing as well. It's just then we try and explain it, and a lot of people are like, everyone has different names for it too. Like, it's just very, it's just so normal to have it here though. Like, I don't know. It's just absolutely just perfectly. Every house has some in the cupboard, right? Like, you know? Okay, we're coming down. Simulator coming up. As we get underway. This map's a fun one. I feel like another one where we haven't really seen its full potential with the rocks not really being taken down all that often so far. That's 100% something I would like to see more of. As you can see now, our well, Cybercore coming up. Next coming through. Adept on the way in, and just so far, so good. Let's just see our link speed coming in. Robo facility getting up and running. Robo is obviously a fun opening from herO, a little bit different from the usual Stargate or Twilight that you oftentimes expect to see here in PvZ. So that is going to have a little bit of a different tone, a little bit of a different idea to this. Scarlett's making a fair few lings right now, deal with these first few adepts. We are not going to go more... Oh, we are going to go more lings than that. Okay. So we're kind of sending it ling-wise here. Well, the Robo is not great defensively against a ling flood. You don't get the aid of an Oracle. You don't have the eventuality of Glaives. So in that regard, these lings might be able to do very well. Obviously, this still comes down to walling and how well you can wall. As we do have lings just flooding across. Even the drones are coming across the map, by the way. But I think herO knows. He's seen the Adept, and he's going to position the probe behind the Adept as well to make sure that this wall is going to be able to go up, and that's going to really stop the drones from getting through for the full proper surround. Needs to make sure we build that at the right time as the Adept. Still going to take a lot of damage quickly. Then the lings have to decide what they're going to try and target down here. Now a massive continuation of this wall as Scarlett will be able to still pick her way through some of these forward structures. There are a few drones that are attacking where lings are not, and that would obviously be a DPS increase. We start to send the drones back away, as herO just has the full wall set up, and this is looking as though it's not really going to go anywhere just yet. We knocked down one of these building gates. Now we've got batteries up. It's going to be even more difficult to break through. An Adept and a Sentry dealing damage. Scarlett just sends her drones back home. She has got another round of lings still showing up here, but yeah, this is oddly great, to say the least. Just going to see how lings trying to come through again. Darkshrine coming in, and Gate's still producing. All of that just on the way through as our lings get back around. Our hatchery in the front getting set up also. And our Darkshrine is building in the main base. Again, that Darkshrine up and online. So these lings just chilling out in the center of the map. Trying to see what we can do. Prism is heading back to the top left side as here just needs to do a little bit of pressuring, right? Doesn't have to do anything too crazy. Roach roaring. Spore crawlers all being brought up as well. Prism gets pushed away. And with the Darkshrine about to finish up, her detection currently lies in a couple of spores. No lair. Obviously very late third hatchery. Very difficult to get a spore down here if we're just going to walk it down. So these DTs might just be able to right-click on the hatchery at this point. Yeah, there's no creep currently connecting the bases, right? The spore is going to walk over, but it has to walk slowly off creep. That's going to buy you more time as herO to just right-click down this base. The spore will burrow. The queens do not have a transfusion, and that's a dead hatchery. So the third was already late, and now it's even later. A couple Archons will morph in behind this. Once you get those DTs to set up into Archons, and with the Archons here, you should be able to then keep on harassing. Archons will come over and drop over in towards the main or natural. Even just trading with the queens, right? Forcing some transfusions already, getting damage there. There's no real damage output on these Archons outside of the queens. They're not taking heavy hits. The Prism will take some hits, though. Bit of a dive by there for herO. A bit of a riskier move, but works out. Was able to keep going, and he's actually going to have to recall out because of the spore repositioning. So that was a little dangerous. Like I say, more dangerous than it perhaps needed to be. There's a few extra probes to go down to low ground, and still seeing this army of herO heading out up to the top. Infestation pit building here as Scarlett is really trying to find a way back into this, but losing some drones. These Archons continue to put on some good damage, doing a very good job of things so far. The Archon's going to come back over, get some more drones. Still one over here. 5 workers killed, and just going to go and again see where else we can get to. Scarlett's not in a position where she can take further damage, right? At the end of the day, she really is behind heavily off the opening. The later third is going to hurt that even further. Approaches set here, Stalker's firing. Scarlett just doesn't have a way to fight this army. herO is going to take it 3-1. We're still yet to see a game in Harbinger that really